Okay, I think we're live. Let's try this. This is James Smitty speaking from TrainingSites.io. And what we're going to do today is just go over some of my open tabs from well, it's Monday, so should be the day before, but these are kind of a little bit from in the past. And the reason they're in the past is I just thought about this would be a cool thing to do because every day I've got by the end of the day, I've got a ton of tabs open on my browsers, on my desktop. And a lot of them are really great tools and services that we run into that we're evaluating or I'm taking a look at to see how they work, see how they fit together, and see how things fit in to business. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go through some of the tabs. Hopefully there's a tool or service that you may need or may find that is something that really helps you out. And let's go take a look and see what we run into. Now, this is going to be the first one. One of the things that happens when you're running an agency and selling courses online or selling memberships online, and you have one-off services, one of the big problems is trying to figure out how you're going to bill people. Because the last thing that we want to do is we wanted to make sure that we avoided having one billing system for one place, one site have one billing system, another site have another billing system, another way. So we want to be able to have them talk together. Now, the other thing is our company's in Canada, but we do 99% of our business in the States, but we still have some customers in Canada. And of course, when you're in Canada, you want to try and charge for the currency that the person is billing from. And we want to bill from the States and bill from Canada. Now, if you bill from Canada, I don't know how it works in the States, but we have a federal tax, which is a harmonized sales tax, which is a provincial tax in our case, and a federal tax all in one. So we have to collect in Canadian currency, and we also have to collect taxes for Canadian customers. So what do you do? How do you get this all set up? Now, there's a couple ways to do it. I'll go over how we're actually doing it on our site moving forward after some of the evaluations we did, but I'll show you some of the ones we looked at and how they might fit into you. The first one you might want to look at is called Service Provider Pro. This one's specifically designed for people who are obviously an agency providing services. And it's really, really, really a great piece of software because it allows you to create service or productized services. Technically, you can sell physical products. I think you can sell physical products on it, but it's designed for obviously for agencies that sell services and productized services. So you can create a complete catalog or shop of all of your productized services, and they can be both in US funds and Canadian funds or whatever the other funds are that you want to charge in or have to. And they're also great at being able to charge taxes for each of those particular currencies and where people are being billed in. So really, really flexible there. I really like it. It's easy to use, simple, nice interface. It does have additional things like a help desk in it. But the one that's important for agencies, if you're looking for something to manage your agency billing services, if you actually look on the screen here a little bit, you'll see that they do have invoices. They do have flexible subscriptions with this great tickets, but they also have customizable order forms to take orders for those invoices or those subscriptions you set up. But they have a very, very nice and intuitive customer billing portal. So if you do want people to come in and take a look at their billing, manage their any of their forms, change anything that they need to, this one works really, really well, and I quite like it. And it works with Stripe, nice tight integration with Stripe. So this is one that I highly recommend. Go take a look at it. It's one of my tabs. It's open. We do have an account for that is not going to be used, and I'll tell you why in another video. But if we were only doing services, this is definitely the one I would seriously take a look at. Now, the other ones that we ran into is there's one called Hello Bonsai. I think it's just like the tree, but this is another one specific to online billing for agencies. Very, very nice piece of software. Again, I like it. It doesn't work necessarily the same way as the Service Provider Pro, and it is more expensive. The other one that I have is one called, there's one called Honeybook, which is another one. And the thing that these two have, and I can't remember which one it is now, But I think they all try and do everything, which is not the perfect way to do it for us. But this one, those two, if I'm not mistaken, I know one of them for sure, but what they do is they take the payments, but they tie you into the payments. And what I mean by that is if for whatever reason you decided to change things later, and you have 1,000 recurring subscriptions or 25 recurring subscriptions or 100, doesn't mean the matter, but the way that these are set up is that you are locked in to using their software. There's no easy way to get people transferred to another system or another site. You'd have to do it manually, go back to your customers, for example, and get them to do it. So that's my understanding of how it works. Again, HoneyBook is an example of the one here. I'm looking at sign contracts, book and schedule, track inquiries, manage projects. It tries to be everything. So, this is something that might be good if you're only selling services, you've only got an agency business, a nice piece of software. I think it's one you should take a look at. But if you're doing blended stuff like us, it wasn't necessarily a great fit. So what did we end up doing? Again, another video, but for this one right here, I'll share a little bit about what we did. We have WooCommerce, and what we have is we have courses that we sell, we have a membership that we sell, we have individual services that we sell. We've got a lot of moving pieces, and we've even got a recurring monthly service packages that are available. So we've got a lot of different things that we're selling, not just a couple, and they're in multiple currencies. So the one thing that we did find that we're using is a currency switcher, and it just does that. It allows us to use WooCommerce in this particular case, but the plugin will automatically change the currency based on either the geolocation or I believe on the country / province or state that it's set up on when you make those settings. So we're in a position now where based on where someone purchases, they're going to be able to, or the billing address anyway, excuse me, they're going to be able to have the currency that they wanted. Now there's another plugin that works well with that as well that we looked at, and that's the one from wpexperts.io. They do the same kind of thing, really just different interfaces on it. The one that we're going to be using is this one here, Aelia, and it's aelia.co is that one there. So go take a look at both of those as well. So wpexperts.io and the one I just mentioned. So good ones for charging multiple currencies. We also have a plugin there's lots of them available for WordPress that actually allows you to charge taxes based on where they are as well. So if they're in Canada, for example, it'll charge them tax based on the fact that their billing address is in Canada. Okay, so those are the ones that are kind of cool. On the billing side, went through a couple of those. Again, if you have questions about setting this up for your membership or training site, lots of options here. The one thing just to keep in the back of your mind is we have a help desk for our members. We have a help desk for our agency people. We've got contact management, CRM tools for this. And one of the things and the reasons we kind of stuck with the WooCommerce one is because we're using all sorts of tools that are tightly integrated with the help desk, with the CRM, with our booking system. They're all in WordPress. And the ones that are standalone ones, it's like you have to take some of your business out of your WordPress site, put it on this software as a service, external site, and then try and integrate them. We're in one position where we're trying to hold everything in one particular place. Okay, so that's the billing kind of site tabs we ran into in the last little while I wanted to talk to you about. The other one here I'm going to share with you, and this is actually the software that we're using right now, which is kind of interesting because this software is called Ecamm, and it's for Mac only, and it's how we do our live broadcasts, and in fact record and or stream optionally a lot of the work that we do with training sites and training courses and lessons. And the reason is because there's a really great interface allowing me, for example, to go back and forth with these kind of shots, having them set up ahead of time, moving back and forth to full screen, zooms, that kind of thing is all available to us. And again, just having that set up one time directly in Ecamm. Now, they have a new version coming out today, and to create those cuts and scenes, they've actually just integrated with a brand new tool, and that one right now is called Scenery. So here's a free service that's available, and what that allows us to do is be able to create these actual scenes for Ecamm Live. So this is a new tool that just found out about. We're going to be using. Ecamm just updated today, so this is the actual software that they've integrated with Ecamm. So if you are doing live streams on the Mac, you have Ecamm or you haven't done it, I'll put the link below to Ecamm and Scenery. Again, free version. I think the other one was $15 a month, which is totally understandable based on all of the cool stuff that it does. We're going to find out later when they do a live stream as well. Now, the other thing that we looked for and had some we were looking for a good solution. Haven't decided on this one yet, but I'll go over some of the ones that we ran into. Is we do an awful lot of content that we have to create for courses and or for content marketing. And of course, we use tools like ChatGPT to actually create that content. And my kind of philosophy on this content marketing is called a hub and spoke system, where that blog is actually where you want people to go. So it's the hub of your wheel or your Ferris wheel. And you want to make sure that you have all of the content on the outside driving people into the hub, where you can work on things like capturing email addresses and getting bookings and getting people to sign up for your products and services. But one of the things is that you want to create content. There's a lot of it out there, but you want to create a blog post or have content that's on your website for it, for people to come in and consume and hopefully opt into some of your lead magnets and sales pages and things like that when they're there. So you can do it with ChatGPT, but there's a number of steps that are involved in doing it. And one of the ones that we use on a regular basis for one of our other businesses that is about pickleball. If you're not familiar with pickleball, go to mypickleballfriends.com. So we've got the pickleball site where we take YouTube videos that are related to pickleball. And what we were doing is we were using ChatGPT to actually go and analyze the YouTube video and then write articles, summary articles, and SEO-friendly articles from the YouTube videos and have it done directly and then post it to the My Pickleball Friends site. So there's some steps to there, and one of the things that's happened recently, I don't know if you've been on ChatGPT over the last week, they've changed the interface with the plugins or the way that they were allowing you to use these tools that were visiting the YouTube video and doing the conversion. So we started looking around for some other tools. A couple that we found out, ran into, and I'll just pull those ones up right now, make sure we're in the right place here. There's one that was on AppSumo, which is kind of interesting, called Neuron Writing, I guess it is. And it just does that. It optimizes website content, and it focuses on SEO content as well. Now, this is like ChatGPT on steroids, and it gives you a lot of flexibility on the different things that you're doing in terms of optimizing the content actually in the writer. If we're creating it on the website, what we had to do is use RankMath or one of the other SEO tools and get the content in from ChatGPT. Even though we'd asked ChatGPT to, make it SEO friendly, you still have to take it on and really spend some time organizing it and using tools, for example, like RankMath or SEOpresser or Yoast to optimize it. This will do it on the particular tool. And it's specific to content writing. So you don't have to worry about as much about things like having proper ChatGPT prompts. It's designed with prompts and tools and the way they frame stuff within their tool to use AI to actually bring you great content. So this one I think is still available on AppSumo, and again, I'll put the links below for that one as well. The other one is another one called it's AI SEO. Now, the reason that this one is interesting is because they do and or did have one of the plugins for ChatGPT, where you'd be able to put in the YouTube video and it would give you the actual content for your article based on the YouTube video. But I think what's happening, they call it a repurposer with ChatGPT. So what's happened is if you go and try and do that, there's some limits on the ChatGPT version, at least when we were looking, and they now have one that's $6 a month to give you some additional access in terms of how many times that you use it. So that one was in ChatGPT. I think it's like the WordPress tools now where you got a freebie version and then the pro version. So they're doing that as well. That one shows up as one of the plugins in ChatGPT. So those are two tabs we had open there. So those are the ones on the content management side. I'm going to share two other ones for teaching online, which were really interesting, because even though we build training and membership sites and we're creating content and courses, one of the things that's very difficult for a lot of people that we help is that they're used to sharing content but not teaching. And there's a whole bunch of, there's actually a whole industry about instructional design and for online teachers, teacher education, especially all the stuff that came across obviously with the pandemic, with COVID. And they had to learn, a lot of the teachers who were elementary school teachers, mid-school, high school teachers, they had to learn how to teach online. So there was a lot of technology that came around that. One of these two tools that I'm going to show you, I'll show you the first one first, which is really good for educational content for a teacher. That one, I forget what the name of it here. It's called, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Diffit for Teachers. And the reason I like this one, and we're taking a really close look at it on how we can use it, there's two reasons. One is if you give it a YouTube video, if you give it a PDF, if you give it an article, it will actually create a syllabus/synopsis of the content, and it will even give references in addition to where it got the information to put it all together. So technically what it does is it's creating new content for you based on the additional resources that you have and creating your course content for you. So just to give a quick example, if you visit the site web.diffit.me, so whatever you're teaching, if you have materials already, you've got a link to video, you got a PDF, you've got a YouTube video, what you're going to do is you're just going to give it to the tool. And from there, you're going to be able to, after it spits something out, you're going to be able to say to for example, I want this at a grade 6 level, or I want this at like a business level. They're talking about teachers, but you could say a high school level or grade 6 or grade 4 or grade 9, what have you. But you can actually control the complexity of how it spits out information. It also does things like all of your quizzes. So if you're doing courses, again, powerful tool to be able to use something on quizzes. And here's the part that is, I think that there's a real benefit to a lot of people who are trying to teach something online and being able to return things. It's one thing to have a quiz, but a lot of people still, myself included, love having the ability to do written notes or have written materials in addition to the quizzes and the actual content. So some of these ones that are here are actual ones where perhaps it's for a high school or elementary school or junior school. There's a whole bunch of materials that can be created based on the content that it's created. So some of these ones, for example, just a printable doc is an example. Guide notes so people can actually take them out while they're printing. Facts and opinions where you can ask people to go through exercises, for example. And this is one of the big things for us as teachers and online teachers is that you can teach the content, you can confirm that someone knows it, but it doesn't mean that they can apply it. So some of these materials that are reference materials created here really allow you as the instructor or the teacher to do more than just give content and a process. You can make sure or find out if someone is able to actually apply what it is they're being taught. So that's kind of a cool one. That's diffit.me, so web.diffit.me. And again, it's for school teachers, but I think it's something that we can use with businesses, certainly a good one to look at. Now, other one that I want to tell you about is called Padlet. So let me just open that one up. Now this one's interesting. Like we build training sites, and when we look at training sites, we think of it basically as the way to have courses, campus where you have the ability for people to interact with each other, and the ability to ask questions and be involved. So gamification, there's a whole bunch of pieces on there that we like to include in a training site. But if you just have a course and you don't necessarily have a campus and or want the ability to have people interact as much as some of the other options available, you can use something like Padlet, which is technically a discussion board or forums on steroids. Now, the reason it is because you can have set up these discussion forums similar to groups without the messaging and all of the videos and additional things you can do, for example, in BuddyBoss. But these allow you to create custom discussion boards / forums in different styles based on your different groups. So it gives you a lot of flexibility on how you do things. And if you go through them, so you're going to see there's a whole bunch of them. Kanban boards, for org charts. So photo albums, video playlists, there's all sorts of neat things that you can do with that question and answer. So you can set these up individually as part of your campus. The thing is, they're not integrated right away with your WordPress site, with your usernames and passwords, with the ability to make sure that the structure of the course that you've got set up on your WordPress site, for example, or on another tool is connected directly to them. But that's definitely one to take a look at if you just want to keep it kind of an ad hoc discussion forum, or the ability to do small cohorts or groups. That's kind of a neat one that's there. So those are the ones I wanted to go through in this first session. Of course, the reason being is we open all of these tabs frequently. So what I'm going to do every day, I'm going to try and go through some of the tabs, maybe one tab, maybe 10 tabs. I'm not really sure. It's whatever we run into, and I'll just do it as a live webcast, and we'll see what happens. Again, if you haven't joined our community, it's at trainingsites.io, and if you go to the homepage there, you're going to see we have a whole bunch of services around starting, building, and growing your online training site. So hope you enjoyed this. Again, take care, expect the best. Just ask any questions. We're always here to help. Let's finish it up. There we go.